We're in front of the GameStop here. This is one of the worst hit stores. As you can see right here, the entire window to this door was smashed. I'm actually joined here with Bill Rigby. He is the Chester Fire Commissioner. Tell me about the progress you guys made on this fire.
This morning, investigators are trying to figure out what sparked the blaze that gutted a North Philadelphia church right in the middle of Holy Week.
This just shows how furious those storms were when they came through, and this wasn't the only place that was hit hard. Smoke continues to bellow out. We've seen a mix of both white and black smoke. It looks a little bit more contained than how it was when we first got out here, but I'm still seeing flames come through. Now, we actually found a few shell casings ourselves. You can see there's one right down here. There's another one next to that pole down there. We actually had to tell police about that. Closed due to COVID-19 lockdown. But right next to it is a restaurant, and they are allowed to remain open.
He actually lives right behind this tree that you see behind me, and he was actually at home when the storms came through last night. Tony, what was it like?
I'm gonna move out the way right now. Still a very active scene, and if Eric, my photo, can zoom in right there at the roof, you can see that crews are still putting out hot spots. Tell me what you saw and what you heard and what was going through your head?
One man is dead and 5 others injured after someone opened fire on them in Southwest Philadelphia. Hey, we'll take one together. Hey, we'll take one together. Here we go. You ready?
Here we go.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Bam. Got it.
I get really scared that I might not see my daughter. Like, if I get deported, it's really hard for me.
With tears in her eyes, Wendy, whose last name we decided not to use, looks in fear at pictures of ICE raids across the country. She came to the United States with her family when she was 9 and is undocumented. Right now, she works as a waitress to support her underage daughter.
I'm really scared to just go out with my daughter and just, something can happen.
Right now, we wake up afraid.
Her boss, who we're just going to call David, is also undocumented and came here almost 20 years ago. After working several jobs, he was able to open his restaurant. Thursday, David and several other business owners and workers will participate in a nationwide demonstration called Day Without Immigrants.
We're not going to buy no gas. We're not going to go to the grocery. We're not going to go to shop, nothing.
David said his restaurant serves around 200 people per day. He thinks closing will make an impact on the local economy and show people how important immigrants are.
Carmen Guerrero helped organize the protest. She said more than 20 businesses in the Philly area are participating and hopes it leads to change.
We need immigration reform. We need to move forward as a community.
Wendy said she hopes the demonstration will help others see their point of view.
That we're really an important part of the United States. If we actually come here, it's because we actually need it. We need a better life.
I was homeless for a little bit. I slept in my car. It was hard, and just, not wanting nobody to know your struggles because you're trained to be a soldier.
Brian Roberts is an Army veteran and says that soldiers don't only fight battles on the battlefield. One of his biggest fights was after he left the military. He had trouble finding a job when he returned home. Unable to pay his bills, he was forced to live in his car.
But it was hard to transition. People that was in the military have pride, and sometimes that pride, it builds like an obstacle for you to, ask for help.
But help is coming from an unlikely place. 14-year-old Cole McCafferty. 2 years ago, while McCafferty was walking home from school, he saw a man holding a sign that said he was a homeless veteran.
I couldn't imagine how this man, who had signed up to possibly die to protect my freedom, how he could be homeless. And, well, it was part of that which compelled me to set up Cole's Challenge.
Cole's Challenge has 2 parts. The first is to challenge everyone to do a random act of kindness. And second, to raise $50,000 for the Veterans Multi-Service Center.
So the VMC serves over 6,000 veterans every single year with comprehensive services. So it's anything from benefits and entitlement analysis, housing, to job training and job placement.
Debbie Derricks is the Director of Development for the VMC. She says the money will go towards a new kitchen at the newly built Edison 64 Veterans Community. It's a former high school that endured the highest number of casualties during the Vietnam War.
We have 66 units of permanent housing. We'll have comprehensive services on site, including a warming kitchen, thanks to Cole's Challenge.
I just thought, if you got all these guys in a room together, You know, you have them interacting, you have them eating together, you give them a sense of community.
And a sense of community is what he thinks every veteran needs. According to the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs, there were more than 23,000 veterans unsheltered or living on the street in January of last year. Thankfully, that number has been declining thanks to people like McCafferty and the VMC. It's helped Roberts find a home, job, and got him back on his feet. Now he's paying it forward by helping to renovate Edison 64. Roberts hopes that Cole's challenge will encourage all of us to serve the ones who serve.
So for something like that to take effect nowadays, especially when, you know, some people don't care, even adults, but as adolescents and children, to care about stuff like that is touching.
In North Philadelphia, Khiree Stewart, PHL 17 Morning News. Philadelphians have waited more than half a century for this moment. That road to victory went up Broad Street, where the Eagles rode on buses towards the Art Museum, players clinching the Vince Lombardi Trophy.
We've been waiting for this our whole life.
Some players got off the bus to be with the crowd. It was a sea of green as Birds fans packed the sidewalks, and some even climbed buildings to see their favorite players.
Nick Foles all the way. Philly special!
Some even drove hours to be a part of history.
I can't imagine not being here for this.
Rebecca Shannon came all the way from South Carolina and thinks this is the beginning of a new era for the city.
I think that this is going to hold the city together for a long time.
It was a pretty chilly day with temps below freezing, but to Eagles fans,
but it's 100 degrees somewhere, and that's how I feel, you know. In the Caribbean, on an island, relaxing, that's the way I feel right now.
The parade ended at the Art Museum. Jeff Lurie held the Vince Lombardi Trophy as he and his team greeted the crowd. It was a chance for the Eagles to show some love towards their fans.
To be a part of the Philadelphia Eagles, be a part of these guys, it's one of the greatest things I've ever done in my life.
For the hundreds of thousands of fans that packed the city streets, this was more than a parade. For one day, it didn't matter how old you were or what color you were. Political party didn't matter or what kind of job you had. For one day, virtually endless crowds stood side by side to support one thing: their Philadelphia Eagles.
It's about family, community, all these people coming together. That's what makes this team so special.
I was afraid we would have to put him down to get him out.
Lynn Namoli had a bit of a catastrophe with her 2-year-old 12-pound cat, Sam.
He's a very curious cat.
And that curiosity led to a very dangerous situation. Namoli says that her husband heard noises coming from their kitchen around midnight last Saturday.
We heard things being thrown in here, and that usually means there's a problem. He came out here and Sam's head was stuck in the garbage disposal.
Namoli took these pictures in disbelief. Both of them could not believe their eyes.
I was scared. I didn't know what to do.
Namoli called her son, who was a volunteer firefighter. He started to dismantle the garbage disposal.
I mean, we had coconut oiled him, we've tried to get him back up, and it just didn't work.
After 2 hours and Sam still stuck, she decided to call police. Tredyffrin Township Police Sergeant Brian Hughes responded.
Used a little more coconut oil and got off. There was the metal ring around his neck.
And that coconut oil turned out to be the perfect solution.
Then they just kind of started pushing his skin back up. After about an hour, we were able to back him out.
It took them 3 hours, but Namoli says that other than a few scratches and scrapes, Sam was okay with all of his 9 lives intact.
The only thing that he needed was sleep. Then he slept for several days.
The police department posted this picture to their Facebook page, and it's beginning a lot of attention online. Namoli is calling Sergeant Hughes a hero for his help and smooth thinking.
With the help of Officer Hughes, we survived, and it was great.